What's going on, everyone? It's Safe on Talk, and we are uh, 4 days away now from the new league 3.22. So that means we are going to do the tips and tricks series to help a lot of new people, a lot of veteran people might not know some of this stuff. And even if you did at one point, if you're like me, you forget stuff, and then when you're reminded down the road or a couple leagues later, you're like, oh yeah, I completely forgot you could do that. So I will be putting out 2 to 3 of these videos, just kind of going through all these little things I can think of. I got my notepad out, um, a whole bunch of really good stuff on there that I'll be going over the video. So make sure you subscribe if you learned something in this video and you are ready for the next ones. While I'm on the topic, make sure you go over and subscribe at twitch.tv/safeontalk. We are going to be streaming for the foreseeable future once the league starts, which will be great. And there's a whole bunch of good people over there. I answer as many questions as possible. Don't be scared to just go over there one time, ask a quick question. If I don't know the answer, solid chance one of my viewers knows it, and we'll get an answer for you. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so the first couple things, one, you always want to chisel your maps when they are white. If you look here, I have a white map. If I right click it, hold shift, every time I click the left click, it gets 5%, all the way up to a max of 20. If I do it on a blue map, it only gets 2%. If it's a rare, it will only get 1%. So you always want to chisel your maps when they're white up to 20%. It's very important. Also, if you are a new and a free player, this game is free to play and it's awesome, but the one thing I really think you should buy is 1 or 2 at least of the sell stash tabs. These are all sell stash tabs I have. They're in green. The reason is because trading opens up an entire new world of POE. A lot of people know this. Also, you are going to want to, once you get more stash tabs, to put certain affinities on these stash tabs. What does this mean? Well, it means if I were to click map or essence or something like that, that means when I am in my stash, even if I'm on this tab and I control left click, it automatically will go into the tab with that infinity. Now I have a map stash tab, so it obviously goes in here. Maps. I have it from map affinity. Now, if I have something like a cemetery map, you can see my cemetery is full. If I control click, it does nothing. In fact, it usually gives a warning message. It's like, can't put it in this tab, it's full. So what you can do here, if you still want to do the control left click thing, is control shift left click. It overrides the affinity. It'll put it in the tab. Okay? That stuff is incredibly important for just speed. Keeping up with stuff, so little stuff like that you learn helps a ton. Also, if you are doing trading and you are trading something with a high number, let's say someone wants 4,500 purple essence, it is annoying to shift, click, and try and get directly on 5,000. What you can do is 2 things. You can either, 1, get close and use the arrow keys to dial it in, or, and you have to type this fast, you can do it on the number pad. If you do it too slow, 5000, it doesn't work. 5000. You have to click it relatively fast. And that is a way to get higher stacks of an exact number perfectly. Now, another thing is, you can see here that if I needed colors, I have 376 chromatics to do that, and that is fine. But if I had a lot less, or even the fact I have 376, I have a ton more jeweler's orbs. So what you're going to do is use your crafting bench. If you don't have a crafting bench, arrow down here in your hideout, edit, decorations, type in crafting bench right here. It'll pop up crafting bench, drag and drop in there. You're going to want that. That is one of the benches you're going to want while you're editing. Add your stash, your Horde crafting station, Commander Xeric for your map completion, and just maps in general. Just get that all out of the way. Put a map device down. Get your hideout all set for the next league. If you haven't been utilizing your hideout, I'm one surprised, but if you haven't been, you really need to be. So back to the crafting thing. So I have a ton of jewelers, so what I can do is say I needed 2 red sockets on this, and this is an evasion and energy shield gloves. So what I would do is I would go down to 2 sockets, and instead of using 4 sockets and then doing the at least 2 red sockets, which wouldn't be a terrible thing because it's 25 chromatics, but if you don't have a whole lot of chromatics, and you don't want to screw up the fact you have a green and a blue, you can do this. You can go 3 sockets. There's a red. 4 sockets. Not a red. Back down to 3. It'll always keep these 3. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And you can just repeat this until you get that other red. And it will end up being generally cheaper a lot of times, and jewelers are less expensive than chromatics. So that is a good way to do it. Once you got your 4, you could use 5 fusings, just link it up, you're set. So that is how you get sockets on stuff that maybe has a harder time rolling a certain color, because that's how it works. Now, another thing, when you are making currency in the league, you should always treat it like the hideout is lava. Don't spend too much time just chilling in your hideout, looking at your stash, double thinking yourself. If you really want to be profitable, you should try and be in the hideout as little as possible. You need to get in there and you need to start running some maps as soon as you can. Next, I see a lot of new players that aren't fixing little problems with their builds. Say you are getting into maps and you see that your chaos resistance is garbage, and you notice, you are just getting one shot out of nowhere, and you have a suspicion, especially of energy shield. You can tell if something bypasses your energy shield and just hits your direct life, which would be chaos damage. You can fix stuff like that with see if I have someone with an open prefix or suffix. You can fix that. You can literally go to your crafting bench, and you should have the recipes already that can add fire and chaos resistance for 3 chaos on an armor. You can put fire and chaos resistance, stuff like that, to fix your build. You can also use essences. Now, I have an essence tab, so it's going to look really pretty, but if you do not have this, it doesn't matter, just whatever tab you have your essences. Do the essence crystals. They are important, especially in the end of the game, and then the end game for selling in either bulk or just selling them in a couple stacks here and there to make profit. But say you needed chaos resistance and you have some essences. Now, this is the highest one I have, Screaming Essence of Envy. It goes to Shrieking. It goes down. But this, you see, will, or it goes the opposite, sorry. This is the lowest. Then it goes up. I don't have the highest one right now. But this will automatically do what it says on it. So for a armor, it'll always re-roll it as a rare with 26 to 30% chaos resistance. Now, I'm pretty sure it has to be, it has to be rare already. So this is a rare. I can hit it with this. You can see 28% chaos resistance. If you have more than one, you can just keep rolling it until you get some other mods that you need. Say you needed some intelligence, something like that. But you can fix problems with your build. It's not crazy difficult. Another good tip is to automate your flasks. This is incredibly helpful. They also help you really fix problems with your build. Let's say you need elemental resistances. This one has increased effect because I have Mage Blood on it. But what you can do is you can go and you can craft stuff like use when charges reach full, and you get charges by killing stuff. So as long as you are killing stuff quickly, even remotely quickly, it will keep giving you charges, and it will fill up and use itself. So you do not have to hit the button. You can see I have Progenesis Flask, use when charges reach full. You can see if I go in a map and I start killing things, it will use this automatically without me hitting it. See how it turned on? Because I gained charges from killing that mob, and it will just continue to use this so it is up all the time. As long as you aren't god-awful slow. If you're killing stuff so slowly that you're not using, your flash charges aren't going off, or your flasks aren't going off with that, you might have other issues. Now, there are other things you can do with flasks. For instance, you can put something like gain charges when you are hit by an enemy. You can do this as simple as taking some alterations you have. Shift, right click, left click, until you get gains charges on whatever. Here's our example, 11% chance to gain a flash charge when you deal a critical strike. So that's just even more charges if you do, or if you have a relatively high critical strike chance. Another thing, especially if you have a trade tab, is you are going to want to get Awakened POE. Now, flashbang warning, this page is white that I'm going to switch to. Awakened POE Trade is an amazing tool. If you Google this, this is the first page that will come up. This is the right page. Tons of people use it. Windows 11 installer. Get it installed, and when you run it, it is going to run in the tray right here. And what that does is it'll make it so I can hold Control and hit D in the game, you have to make sure you're in windowed mode. If you're in full screen mode, this window will not pop up. So don't say it's broken, it doesn't work. You're 99% likely that you are just in full screen, not windowed full screen, or I guess windowed, but I don't know the hell anyone plays windowed anyway. But now you can see I can look up the trade and I can start pricing stuff like this. Now this is a rare, so it has a lot of, random modifiers on it. So I can click and see, show me gloves that have these stats right here. You could change these numbers too. It says 30%. It's looking at it as if it's 30 or as if it's 27. You can actually change that to the exact stuff if you want. And I don't care about the increased stun and block recovery. Not a lot of people care about that either. It's not exactly a good explicit to have. So I will search for that. And you can see the lowest one that has these 3 and could have more mods than this on these gloves that it's looking at right here. But at least these 3 is worth 15 chaos. So it helps you price random stuff. Now, if it's stuff that's more, hard, fast, like unique, that the mods are just more about the numbers, you can click all these, and that's more a hard, fast rule. This is worth, probably around 10 chaos, 12 chaos. But you really want to sell it. This is late in the league. You could sell it for 8 chaos. Someone would probably still pick that up, mostly because this is a good leveling. This is a great leveling ring, so people, warming up for the next league, getting faster, might say, okay, what if I buy a couple of these down the road? Will this be faster? That kind of stuff. So Awakened POE Trade is a great tool. I'm sure you've heard of it, and if you haven't downloaded, I really think you should. It's safe, effective, and it opens up the POE because you can look up the prices of items and just kind of snowball your trading, get better and bigger stuff. Obviously, if you're playing on solo self-found, this shit doesn't matter, but if you are in Trade League, very important. Alright, and lastly, complete your atlas, your map atlas. If you hit G, you will see your progress as you go. I have finished mine, 115. Get to atlas skill points. I did an entire video on this the other day, so go check that out. I'm not going to go too in depth with it. One thing I did not talk about is watchstones. Now, what are watchstones? Well, you will see there are 4 of them. You get them from defeating 4 bosses: Searing Exarch, the Maven, Eater of Worlds, and the Elder. And what these are going to do when you beat them is when you put these in their respective slots, they take the low tiers that can drop. So you can see these are tier 1. I put it in, and it pumps up the level of your maps. That means they cannot drop lower than what they are listed at. Now, the advantage of this is once you get a couple of these, maybe not even all 4, even if you get 3 of them, it is going to make a lot of your maps tier 16. Now, why is this important? Well, eventually, as you are mapping, when you go to your quests, you are going to get quests for the Eater of Worlds and the Searing Exarch. You are going to want to follow these. What this is going to do is eventually you are going to have to fight the boss. Now, if you need a carry to beat the boss and you cannot do it, you can go on TFT. If you type in TFT Discord, you will see the section for a boss carry. Or you can, if you don't feel like using Discord, you can go to Trade 820 and just flat out wait. Well, I have D&D mode on. /Trade 820, type it in the chat, and you will see people offering boss carries. Like, oh, I'm killing Maven, 60C, get the Watchstone, get that out of the way. But once you do Searing Exarch and the Eater of Worlds, these buttons, once the quest starts, you will see these, will turn into this. Every time you get progress in a map, in other words, you do a tier 14 map or higher, with this clicked, you are going to get progress. When it fills halfway, you get 1 invitation. That's like a mini boss that will you can run. And then once it fills the full way, you get another invitation to fight. This is the Eater of Worlds invitation right here. So after this fills up, you get it. Now, there are points on the atlas that make it so you get double or a chance at double progress. 10% chance toward double progress. So that means sometimes when you kill a map boss, you are going to get 2 of these notches. Usually it takes 28, but it'll then take maybe 23 or 24, maybe less if you get lucky. This is important because even if you cannot run these bosses, you should sell these invitations. Even crazy late in the league, this is worth about 90 chaos. Now, in the beginning of the league, they're worth a little less than this, but they very quickly ramp up because people are mass doing the boss for the very specific drops. Like Ashes of the Stars or, the Citadel Bow. That's a joke. screw the Citadel bow. But this is a way that you are constantly making profit no matter what you find in the map. As long as you are doing it with the influence, and obviously the altars are also another thing. If you don't know what altars are, I could talk about them in a future video. But as you're doing maps, you know, the altars spawn, stuff like that. So the watch zones are very important because you are going to be wanting to run nothing but tier 14 to 15 to 16 maps as soon as possible. If you can't do it yet, it's fine. Hang in there. There are plenty of strategies. I've put out a couple videos. I'm going to put out another one this week that do not require you to run T14 yet. So don't think, oh, this build cannot run T14 plus off the jump. It's not a big deal. You know, you will get there. Most of them. Some builds may not. And that's probably because you didn't follow guide, which is okay. But I'm going to bring that to my next point. It is okay to follow a guide. It is okay to do it on your own. The important thing is, if you do it on your own, there is a very high percent chance your build will suck. You are going to die, and it is going to bum you out because you think, I shouldn't have to follow a guide. Well, you can figure it out, but it is a very complicated game, and trust me, follow a damn guide. It's one of the few games that I follow a guide for some stuff, and I have in the past, because in the past I've been very much so on certain things, trying them out for a while and then using a guide if I absolutely have to. As soon as your build sucks and you feel like you don't want to play the game anymore, don't quit. Just go look up some stuff, follow a guide. There's literally no shame in it. I still do it, and I've been playing this game for a very long time. So, yeah, do not be ashamed to follow a guide. It makes the experience better. It's one of the few games that following a guide only adds stuff to the game because you get to experience more of the end game, and you get, you know, to enjoy playing more. All right, so that is part one of the tips and tricks video series that I'm going to be doing before the release. There will be another one tomorrow, so make sure you get subscribed and you watch out for it. I'm probably going to do 3, if not 4 parts, depending on what other videos I want to put out before League start, because once League starts, I will not be putting out videos probably for the first, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. But I will be streaming it all, so also make sure you get followed over there on twitch.tv. Just Safe on Talk, link in the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow.